Now, as we look at some of the new health features, we really want to call attention to the Performance Diagnostics Service. This lets us actually look at what's going on with our cluster, and we can look at specific performance targets like latency, throughput, or IOPS, as well as a general evaluation. In this case, I want to look at latency for the past hour and what we could do to improve that outcome. We're running some aggressive benchmarks and burn-ins, and we saw some latency spike in the virtual machines. In this case, it's identified that we've got two potential issues. So we've identified that the vSAN cache may not be sized correctly for this workload. And if we drill down into a specific disk group, we can see that the read cache hit rate is relatively low. So what this means is we're probably operating with a much larger workload than our read cache was sized for. Now this is a hybrid vSAN in this case, so that's why it's showing this. And as you can see is when latency is spiking and we're getting a cache hit rate below something pretty efficient like 95, we start to get some warnings. Now if we look at this, we can actually see there's some issues with outstanding I/O from consumption. We can look at basically the benchmark may not be optimized for the desired goal. So what we can see here is that we had a lot more I/O that we were testing than what the system could handle. So this benchmark may have been run too long, or this was an aggressive burn-in that's explicitly not hybrid friendly. So in this case, the benchmark was not really designed for keeping latency low. It was designed for trying to saturate I/O and drive latency up and try to create lots and lots of cache misses. And since it's done in a nested environment with very slow backend disks, we can see that the actual latency increased quite a lot. Next up, let's look at throughput. Now what's happening is when I run this, I'm actually taking performance data that I have and I'm pushing this into VMware's backend. It's actually hosted at VMware, where it's going to analyze this data and compare this across other runs as well as different rule sets that we're dynamically generating within our backend. And from this will help identify issues. So if we're trying to maximize throughput, we probably want to use more than one disk group. And so what this identified is we had different disk groups with different levels of I/O. So since this is a hybrid workload, we would look at raising the stripe width in order to access more spindles. As we can see here, it's also saying again our cache hit rate was really not designed for this. We did get up to 66% efficiency, but as that latency was climbing at the end of this test, we saw that the read cache hit rate was actually declining. So if we're getting lots of cache misses, it may be a sign. And I believe this hosted nested lab is a very tiny amount of cache on purpose to generate this outcome. As we can see here that the virtual machine is this test that we were running for really wasn't designed in order to demonstrate the maximum available throughput.